It's like a bad episode of The Odd Couple. That's right, you're back to watching. What you watching? Dixon Holes with Reverend Cole. That's right, right here, Saturday night on What You Watching. Might as well have been Dixon Holes this week because we watched Maximum Overdrive. That's right, Stephen King did it again, only the movie studio really screwed this one up. Hey, we got a bunch of trailer trash talk to get through here in a little bit, and a bit of who's watching what. So let's get on with it and introduce you to the folks that run this wonderful piece of broadcast history. That's right. I'm one of the hosts of this mess, the Reverend Jeff Kelly, and we ain't got no more diesel. That's right. You'll figure that out later on once you watch Maximum Overdrive. And with me, as usual, is the great Reno Wilmus.
Oh, yeah. And that guy just called me an asshole.
He called me an asshole. Nothing like starting out the movie with a little bit of creepy pedophilia, or I guess she wasn't under 18, but it was just inappropriate touching. Followed up by a bunch of monstrous, murderous machinery. That's right. Maximum Overdrive.
You're saying it wrong, Rev. You're supposed to be Maximum Overdrive.
Over
Sunday.
Overdrive. Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, Thursday. Gotham. Yeah, it's back. I watched the first episode of it. I've been watching this piece of crap for 3 years. It better get good. That's all I can say. The previews make it look a lot better than it is. The acting's not all that great, really. The kids that play in it do a really bang up job for being kids, but he's still not Batman, and it's still TV.
Yeah,
and it's
I'm thinking this is pretty much the season where it's getting closer to what everybody's waiting for. We're just waiting for Batman at this point, and we're getting close. He just doesn't have the Batman
3
look.
seasons later. I mean, really, people? I mean, like 60 episodes in,
And he's not even Batman. He's
still Bat Kid. Yeah, he's flying Fox Kid. He's not even Bat Kid yet. Whatever. It's okay. I like Gotham.
Hey,
it'll be all right.
At least they threw in a little bit of fan service for the Joker fans with having Joker Jerome come back with his face stitched on like he was in the New 52. So that's a little bit of added, comic book fan service for the fans of the comic books.
Yeah, but the guy that plays friggin' Gordon sucks, and the other guy sucks, and
I don't really care because I don't really care for the show. I don't care for the producer because he's an asshole.
Speaking of things that shouldn't suck, the new Tomb Raider. That's right. Alicia Vikander. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, but hell of a lot better than an Angelina Jolie could have ever really attempted to be. I mean, there was so much stunt woman in the Tomb Raiders with Angelina Jolie that I don't know how much she was actually on screen.
I don't know either,
10,
but,
20% maybe.
She at least looked like at the time, but I think I'm looking more forward to this Tomb Raider rather than the Angelina Jolie ones.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them because it was Angelina Jolie, but she definitely never really came up as the Tomb Raider girl for me. She was just a bit, I don't know, strange. Anyhow, she carried around a blood vial of friggin' Bob Thornton, for God's sakes. Speaking of weird shit, Jumanji came out with a second trailer. Shows you a bit more of the plot line that goes along with all of this. I'm digging it. I really am. I mean, yeah. Jack Black playing a teenage girl just makes it that much more friggin' funny. I like.
Or is it a teenage girl playing Jack Black?
I think it's both. Wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah, both. I'm not really sure how that works out, but I'm actually looking forward to this one. I might have to go to the drive-in now that the fall's here, and my birds are nesting. I can't help the noise. You'll just have to tune it out if it's bothering you. Sorry. Speaking of tuning out things that bother you that you're sorry for, the new Punisher. is going to be on
look,
Netflix.
Netflix made another Marvel series. I actually think I care about this one.
Yeah, I like the guy that's playing the Punisher. He was in the last movie I saw him in was Fury with Brad Pitt and crazy ass Shia LaBeouf. What happened to that friggin' guy? God, last time I saw Shia LaBeouf was on YouTube. He was dancing around in a hotel lobby getting arrested by a black cop talking about, all I wanted was a cigarette from you, man. And then they go to the cop car where he's in the cop car with a white guy and he's getting all racist on him. Like, look at you, arresting one of your own kind. He's like, humans? He's like, you know what I'm talking about. Us white boys need to stick together. I'm like, damn, Shia. Then he goes like, hey, you know how much Transformer money I got? Anyhow, sorry, got way off course on that one, but boy,
yeah, what does this have to do with the Punisher, Rev?
I don't know how he got on to Shia LaBeouf. Oh, because this guy was in Fury with Shia LaBeouf in a tank. See, that's how we got there.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf. Hey, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf. Buy crappy toys.
We need the Punisher to come and kill Shia LaBeouf.
The same makers of Ball of the Cup.
That would just be a good series in general. Just have the Punisher killing Shia LaBeouf. I would pay to see that.
And hoop and stick, buy shitty toys. Speaking of shitty toys, I got to ask you, man. Hey, what you been watching?
Oh, well, I've been watching some this shit. I was on set. Me and one of my friends were talking about Christopher Nolan movies, and I mentioned my particular disdain for at least his later work. I seen Memento, and I was like, no, I have not. So I checked it out, and I was like, okay, yeah, get a point, Christopher Nolan. I actually liked this one.
All right, good, because I've seen this one a couple of times. It's not as good the second time around. The first time around you watch it, if you didn't pay attention to it, then you're just screwed. But yeah, I like Memento. This is...
Plus, I basically got this for free when I was buying movies at the local DVD shop. They're like, "Oh, if you buy a fourth one, you get it free." I was just like, "Okay, I get Memento free."
Then I'll take a Christopher Nolan movie because I don't want to pay for it.
Exactly.
Is that how that works? Bada bing, exactly. Bada boom. Followed up by Things I Can't Stand and Think They Should All Die.
Clown. Yeah, me and my buddy were just chilling on watching Netflix, and we decided, oh, hey, look, there's that clown movie that everybody hyped up. Go out, and it led to some pretty good times. There's like some weird subplot line that they drop, like, oh, the origin of clowns is they come from the Norwegian Alps. There's this demon out there, and he eats children. And we're like, oh, so clowns are like mythical creatures now. So now we agreed.
Your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart.
Exactly.
And then you follow that monster up by your favorite thing to watch now.
Oh, yeah. Rick and Morty.
Getting
riggedy wreck, son.
Riggedy wreck, boys.
Yeah. Hey, Reb. Yeah, I really like this show. But I think I've talked and jerked off about this enough. I have a question for you.
Yeah. What's your question there, Chief?
1 second. What, Rev?
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Man, I've been watching stuff. I've been running around updating my daggone my record player setup that I haven't really. I almost forgot to watch stuff, but I remembered that I did watch stuff. So that happened in the beginning of the week. But I did watch this stuff, and this stuff, if it friggin' doesn't give me a friggin' white screen, you sons of bitch and bumpuses, it's supposed to be, there it is, Furious 7. That's right, the Fast and Furious movies. If they come on, I watch them. I enjoy them. I don't give a crap that they're not about what they used to be. Yeah, look at those numbers right there. They don't lie. 80%, 82%. So all you people that say, I don't like the Fast and the Furious movies, well, you're obviously voting for them on Rotten Tomatoes, so shut up.
I don't like this movie, Rav.
Yeah, whatever. I don't really care if you like this movie. 80% of the people that do, that makes just you have bad taste. So there you have it, folks. The Rock.
Okay.
It's The Rock. It's Vin Diesel. It's the movie where not Brian O'Connor, but the dude who plays that guy died. Paul Walker died in a dangerous ass Porsche of his that somebody else was driving too fast down in LA, smashed into a light pole and killed his dumb ass. Well,
Paul Walker.
Yeah, that guy. His brothers helped them finish the movie because they already had most of the principal shooting done. And they did the fill-in shot for it. They Tarkined him. That's exactly what they did. And you can tell where they Tarkined him too. That's what that's going to be called from now on. Hey, they Tarkined him. That's right. You're targeting that guy.
I'm trademarking that, by the way.
That's right. That is now copyrighted by What You Watching. Tarkined. You've been Tarkined. Reno Williams, Reno Williams, the legend returns over there, coined it. And then I was watching, of course, you may not have the cash, you may not have the looks, but you'll get yourself a chick if you've only got a mustache, if you've only got a mustache.
You'd only get a chick when this fucking page loads.
Yeah, I know, man. Fucking Rotten Tomatoes today.
Oh, you were talking to me about having bad taste.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I like comedy westerns, but this is by far the funniest western since Blazing Saddles. It's every bit as offensive. It is every bit as poking fun at every part of society you could imagine, and how it has these low numbers means that those people have no taste in humor.
Well, it's obvious that it's all a conspiracy against Seth MacFarlane.
That's very true. I mean, the dude only has like $8.9 billion. I mean, you could be a conspiracy against him all you want and give him 33%, but the dude's got pockets full of money that have pockets full of money. So, I'm not really too sure what's going on. A bag of what? A bag of weed.
He also has a bag of weed.
Everything's better with a bag of weed.
Everybody's better with a bag of weed. Blah, 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 blah.
Now, if you watch this movie all the way to the end, people die at the fair. The Django Unchained walks up out of the crowd and shoots the guy running the runaway slave shooting gallery. People die at the fair. It's a very funny scene. So stay to the end to watch it. Speaking of shit, you got to stay to the end and watch the Orville. Again, Seth MacFarlane. Now, 88% of the audience score loves it. But what the hell's up with Tomato Meter? Usually they're not this out of whack. I don't understand what's really going on here, but the audience loves the Orville, and I'm one of them. I've seen 3 episodes of it now. I'm in. It is realistic Star Trek for the 2000s. It really is. It's not a musical. Wes wanted to turn. I bet you it's going to be a musical because it's Seth MacFarlane. He turns everything into a musical. This is not a musical. This is definitely a futuristic space exploration type of show. There are jokes because there should be. We are humans, therefore we would have humanity in space. Trying to interact with some of these friggin' aliens is kind of comedic as well. Parts of the show I don't like, parts of the show I do like. I just don't understand how they got this out of whack here. 88-20 here on the Tomato Meter.
Can I reiterate?
Yeah,
it's a conspiracy against Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane, that's right. Hollywood doesn't want him to succeed, but the people are making it happen.
It's obvious because Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Warner Brothers. They're pissed because of the failure of the Batman v Superman and Marvel paying off all those critics, remember? So they're obviously tanking it all out on Seth MacFarlane because he has a punchable face.
It is all Seth MacFarlane's fucking fault. That's exactly right. And speaking of things that are Seth MacFarlane's fault, it's time for us to go out into the chat room and say hi to our 5 fans that might be out there.
Aha, nice segue.
Let's hang out, dude. Let's see who's hanging out with us tonight. Well, old Rod Dupree is always in the place to be. He has first on the Stonerdom tonight. That's right.
Dang right, Rod Dupree.
That's right. Star Shine. If Rodney notices, I gave him his tool to go swinging around out there, so now he has a tool to swing as well. Oh, look, it's Ken. He put his finger in that third hole.
I feel like at some point we're gonna give everybody out there a tool.
A tool. Yeah, well, only if I trust you. That's for sure. And you know, you can at least moderate for us.
Yeah.
There's Gin in the room.
That last one, you got a little on your beard.
We got a little bit right here. I know. And then we got Sam Squanch Rivera's in the house. How you doing,
boy, Sam? How you doing, bud?
There's my man, the drummer forever. That's right, Mr. Gary Whitney White's hanging out in the What You Watching Hangs tonight. 70 miles an hour driving down the highway.
Good stuff, guys.
I don't know what they're hauling this week, but I'll bet you it's food. Gone camping. That's right, Jevin Moore.
Well, hello, Jevin.
He wants to know if somebody will sign his boobs.
I got a Sharpie here.
Yeah. Mr. Dean Cooper's in the house. He's playing with his Quasi in the corner.
I can imagine Dean right now reciting his mantra. Fuck you, Collier. Fuck you, Collier. Fuck you, Collier.
And that's who we've got hanging out live. And I'm sure Cassie and Kurt will check in here a little bit. Old Christopher's probably watching, but his mama's busy watching football. I think it's Saturday night or some crazy crap. Something like that. Who knows? Back to what we were doing. We were doing What You're Watching. We're talking about Maximum Overdrive. So at the end of last week's show, we really hadn't decided what we were going to watch, and old Reno Wilmus over there goes, "Hey, I'll leave it up to you." And I'm like, "You sure you want to do that?" And he goes, "Yeah, we'll be all right. Well, you just choose something." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, "Hey, why don't we just stick
famous
with
last words?"
Yeah, why don't we just stick with Stephen King and we'll do Maximum Overdrive? Have you ever seen it? He's like, "No," and I'm like, "Oh, you'll dig the practical effects."
And I
that's
told
about
Reverend
all I promised.
after that.
And that's about all I
told Reverend, never tell me anything. I'll dig something.
No, you said don't tell me that you'd like something, and I said I didn't say you'd like it. I
didn't say dig it. I didn't say don't tell me that I'll like the movie. Grant, don't say that either. Don't tell me I'll dig anything about the movie. Because then I feel obligated to hate it. Which then again, I try not to anyways. But anyways, we should probably sum up what the movie's about.
That would be
so basically, Maximum Overdrive. Basically, a comet just goes by the Earth. It causes some freaky shit to happen, which causes the machines to go all homicidal and kill people. And that's basically it.
It's Night of the Comet with trucks.
Yeah,
and you haven't seen Night of the Comet, so that probably doesn't help you any. But
no, it doesn't.
There was this in the 1980s. There were these books and these stories going around that the planets were going to align, and when that happens, freaky things in the universe were going to happen, and the life on Earth would end. And this was a common thing through the 1980s. Every year, something else or other was going to happen.
We're talking about 1980s. That's still going on.
Talking about this past weekend, the Bureau was supposed to run into the Earth or an asteroid or some crap. Who knows? I guess it slept in. That was this morning. I think we were supposed to die.
It's like one of those flavor of the week. Oh, how's the world going to end this week? I'm just waiting for it to be like, oh, Reverend's gonna walk around in a diaper, a turban, and 2 propane tanks.
That's the thing. If y'all ever see the old Reverend out in public wearing nothing but a diaper, a turban, and carrying around a couple of propane tanks, run like away.
Hell.
Like, don't ask me if you can help. Just run, because something's getting burned the fuck to the ground. That's what's happening there. Burning things to the ground, though. Maximum Overdrive. So, Charlie Sheen's brother, whatever that guy's name is in this movie. Some chick that we've never heard of is in this movie. Some dirty old man who was trying to get freaky with that chick that we've never heard of was in this movie. There was a groovy black guy. Never heard of that guy. He was in this movie.
Which one was Charlie Sheen's brother? Because I don't see a Sheen on the list.
No, so you don't know that story. Okay, Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen are brothers.
Oh, okay.
And they have the same daddy and the same mama, but Estevez took daddy's name or mama's name, and Sheen took daddy's name.
Oh,
so they wouldn't be that way, you know. It would. Oh, let's get that Sheen boy. Well, which one? See, that way that wouldn't be a problem in Hollywood. See how that worked? So one of them became Emilio Estevez, and the other. Now, there for a long time, we weren't really all that sure. They might have been the same person. But as Charlie came out of the bucket and was like, STD friggin' Jones, from the time he was a kid, he was in the free clinic more than anybody else. Yeah, Gonorrhea Jones. We knew that there was an Emilio Estevez, and he was not as dirty as Charlie Sheen was. And that was way back in the day. Imagine now. Yeah. Charlie Sheen got AIDS, and he's still alive. How does that work out? Because he got the money to get it fixed. Anyhow, yes. So we had the wrong Sheen brother in this one. The first time I watched this movie was on VHS from a family video in Maryland.
Sure Christopher right now is watching and wondering, what's a VHS?
Yes, what's a VHS tape? That's one of them VCR tapes. You put it in the machine and it sucks it in and goes, and it turns a tape and actually moves the tape across some heads that read it and put it up on your television set.
And that's the VCR ate the tape.
Then it was gone.
A lot of angry people. Yeah.
Yes, it was done. And if you took it back to the store you rented it from destroyed, they made you pay for it. And it was like $100 back then for those tapes. I mean, it was not cheap if you destroyed a tape. That's for sure. Anyhow, yeah, I rented that sucker from the family video shop. We went back to my friend John's house, and we watched it on their shitty downstairs console 1968 TV. Solid state, though, you know, in color. Probably a 27-inch square tube TV. And it was in letterbox. And he was cussing at the movie the entire time because it was in letterbox. He was angry that it didn't fill the entire screen. He didn't understand why it didn't fill the entire screen. He wanted it to fill. He was banging on the TV to try and get it to fill the entire screen. I was like, you don't understand. It is filling the entire screen. The top and the bottom are black bars. You see that they're black? He's like, yeah. I said, then it's filling the screen. You just watch the part that isn't black.
See, Stephen King, he started letterboxing. Nah, probably not.
No, not by a long shot. But this particular version of the movie that we were watching was letterboxing, and it was just disturbing to have that conversation with a non-intellectual.
Yeah. So we've already discussed that I'm not as fond. So I want to ask you what you thought the pros were, because I couldn't really think of a lot of pros on my end.
The ACDC soundtrack was a definite pro. You can rock through this entire movie even when it's not appropriate.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. That was the only thing I could come up with for a pro. I was like, I can only barely hate on the soundtrack. Like, I can't hate on the soundtrack itself because it's AC/DC. But I can't. There's times where it just makes no sense.
It's AC/DC's Who Made Who soundtrack. That's right. Every single song in this movie came from AC/DC's Who Made Who. And it is amazing. But no, you're right. It's absolutely like inappropriate at times for the lyrics that are going on the screen and the action that's going on the screen have nothing to do with each other.
Which also I already have a pet peeve for movies that bust in like popular songs and bands in just for the sake of doing that.
I think that they thought they had an epic movie on their hand because the soundtrack was most definitely added later. You notice that none of the actors interacted with the soundtrack at all. Like, they never heard any of that music. So it was all there for the audience. And I think it was a matter of, all right, dude, we got to get somebody to like lay these tracks for us who can do it. Fuck, who's the hottest band right now? We're Warner Brothers. Fuck it.
The MTV crowd in, Rev.
Yeah, man. Fuck it. Let's get AC/DC. They can do it. We'll pay them a bunch of money. We're Warner Brothers. Why not? And sure enough, there you have it. I mean, yeah, it was definitely inappropriate in times, but the soundtrack is awesome. After that, I mean, the storyline's kind of interesting. Back then, like I said, there was a whole bunch of these weird movies coming out. Night of the Comet, Maximum Overdrive, The Wraith. All those came out around the same time with these weird kind of I don't know.
I'm not even sure that the writing is there. Like, this is definitely one of King's weakest works.
Yeah, I don't really know where the scary part comes in besides the automatic shooting machine gun and the.
Yeah, I couldn't. There was no part that I was like on my edge. Like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, it's like I would have just started flattening fucking tires and not worried about it.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, there was a lot of ways to disable them things to not be able to chase you. They figured it out at the end. I mean, they all got weaponed up, and the end was the epic Scooby Doo, good feeling ending. Everybody running around with machine guns, blowing up stuff. I mean,
See, I completely forgot at that point.
well, it's like
what
the
happened.
last 2 minutes of the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I just remember. I just know that this is a case where one of the biggest rules that they teach you when you're a filmmaker is that you show, don't tell. And this is one of those cases where they definitely tell you and not show you. Like at the beginning, they're like, "Oh, comet passed."
Right.
Show you the comet, and at the end, they're like, "Oh, by the way, there was this UFO that happened." Like, what?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
What?
and by the way,
what's going on?
2 days later, a UFO showed up, and the Soviet weather station blew it out of the air, and that was like,
okay, that seems like a bit of an important plot detail.
Right. Was the UFO controlling the trucks, or was it because the comet flew over? And why did it want everybody dead? If everybody was dead, how were they going to fill up their trucks?
So I think this is a good time as any to ask you the next thing. So now we talked about the pros and snuck our way into the cons. What do you think are some of the cons of this movie?
Stephen King. I mean, I'm not.
What are you talking about?
I'm not.
You got called an asshole.
I'm just not a great big fan of Stephen King movies. They don't scare me. They never have. Now that I've seen this version of it, the original version of it wouldn't have scared me either. I just would have want to punch it in the face too. Even though it was
thought that the original Pennywise was hilarious.
Yeah, I just and none of his stuff has ever really scared me. I don't think that he's all that great or strong of a horror writer. He plays on phobias. He's not even a horror writer. He's a phobia writer. He wrote Cujo. That was a dog phobia. He wrote Carrie, which was an overprotective mother phobia.
That's also a kind of a coming of age movie. Because,
yeah, he wrote Christine, which was a ghost phobia. He plays on phobias more than he does create horror.
I can't really speak to his novels because I don't really read much. The most I got was close. The closest I got was reading more about what was in the novel of It.
Reading about what was in the novel.
Yeah, well, not really.
I read the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, I went through the Cliff Notes, guys. No, I'm just more browsing through YouTube videos and stuff like that. Since there's a big rush of It videos. But he's definitely one of those guys that's hard to translate from book to screen, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I read Cujo. I read Christine. I did not read The Shining because The Shining was too long of a book and it was just dumb. I didn't like the movie either. I don't understand why people think The Shining is this great of a friggin' movie. It's really not. I mean, the red rum twims are a little friggin' creepy, and olive oil kind of ruins it for me. Shelley Duvall, sorry. It's the only thing I can remember her ever playing besides that part in The Shining was olive oil in the Popeye movie. Ugh, she ruined that for me too.
Never even anything else. But anyways, back to
back to the crappiness of Maximum Overdrive. We had crappy actors and a crappy script and a crappy location, and it wasn't for being a Warner Brothers movie. It wasn't they spent a lot of money on explosions. I guess.
Rev, before the show, in this movie, there was no middle ground between and underacting.
Yeah, no, there was nobody that hit it dead on.
I can tell that maybe the guy who played the boss.
Maybe the little kid that was being held by the guy in the ditch telling him, "You get me out of here or I'll kill you." I think the little kid might have been the only one that might have been dead on. He was on screen for about a minute and a half. Help me, Billy. Help me. Get me out of here. That kid.
Yeah, I know which kid you're talking about. But I was going to I could play an ass.
Well, I hope that's on his end and not mine. We'll catch
But
up with
like
Colt in a
the
minute.
main guy played by Emilio Estevez and the girl boring.
Yes.
Say what?
Yes, your connection's a little boggly at the moment. A lot of that may not have come through, but basically, it comes down to he was saying that the interaction between the main character being Emilio Estevez and that chick were boring and slow at times. She was not a very good actress at all. She didn't even get naked for us, which just totally ruined everything. I guess I don't know. Sorry. Not everything has to
It's
be
all
done
about
with
getting naked, I guess.
Yeah, everybody likes to be naked and nude. Why not? It's a feel-good movie. It's a movie of the 80s. You want to make your kids.
At any point, I felt good at all. I just wanted to shoot myself during this movie. King, why did you do this to me? Put me out of my misery.
And with that, we're going to let Cole pick the movie for next week. And we're going to end this edition of What You're Watching. Look at that. It's already time to wrap this bad boy up. Join us.
I'm gonna get payback for next week if I'm.
Don't make me watch a crappy movie just because we watched a crappy movie. It's been 20 years since I've seen this movie. I didn't remember it being this crappy, but apparently that's the case. Watch out for your goblin trucks. Don't give them any diesel. Flatten their tires and tell them to go to hell. That's my advice with the Maximum Overdrive.
Crazy bitch that yells out, "We made you! We made you!
We made you!" That crazy little squeaky voice girl.
And
so annoying.
Subscribe.
Hit the subscribe. Because YouTube just told me that we're not making any money till we reach 10,000 views. So, see ya.
See ya.